Why do you think people are so chronically sick and depressed? I mean, is it the processed food we eat is toxic? Yep. Is it because our water and air is practically poisoned? Yep. Does social media play a role in any of this? Yep. Have we been programmed to live in a constant state of fear and anxiety? Yep. Does it feel like the whole entire system has been designed to keep us sick? But could there be another reason we're chronically sick and depressed? Like a reason that no one ever talks about? And even our so-called medical professionals, they don't talk about it. They don't know about it because it wasn't included in their curriculum. I mean, let's face it, your doctor, dude, he works on symptoms, okay? He has one hammer to solve all your problems, and it's their prescription pad. Because these dudes have a pill for everything except this. You see this image right here? Every life form on the planet has an energy field around them. Your energy field is your suit of armor that protects you from the toxicity in our world. And guess what? There's no pill you can take to fix this, to repair your field. As long as your field looks like this, pills are going to be a Band-Aid approach to you healing. And your problems are going to come back over and over again. This is what your field is supposed to look like, full and evenly radiating out. When your field looks like this, you can handle toxicity in moderation, and you'll heal yourself because that's the way the body was designed. You can heal yourself. You have the wisdom, you have the intuition to get out of any jam you're in and into a more healthier, more joyful mindset. But you can't do that when your energy field looks like this. No pill that you take is going to help you when your energy field like this. Your energy is leaking out and you are absorbing toxicity from your environment. So what do you do if your energy field looks like this? How do you reset your energy field?
I've been wanting to have this session for the longest time, and it's finally time. I
Yeah.
had to overcome a lot of fear. In 2007, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and it's kind of like how my whole awakening started. And I got into like natural health, researching that. And then I tried the whole natural health thing because I heard of people how you can heal your body with food and meditation. And
Mm-hmm.
so I dove into that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had I had my surgery, I did radiation, everything that I needed to do, and then it came back like a year later.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was gnarly. It was chemotherapy, major surgery, and the whole bit. Well, that really got my attention.
Yeah.
And then so I started to delve into more. I found Dolores Cannon at that time online. First it was Louise Hay, all affirmations and the healing and all of that kind of thing. I don't know if you've heard of
Oh
her.
yeah, of course. Yeah.
And then Dolores Cannon came from there, and then I was like, oh boy, what is this? So it sent me on like this spiritual journey, and then I got it a third time because I feel like I wasn't taking it as seriously as the universe or God wanted me to. He
Mm-hmm.
was like,
Yeah.
this is the last time I'm going
You'll
to
get
warn
it
you,
this
girl.
time. Yeah. Yeah.
And I did. I said, okay, I am listening. So ever since then, thank goodness I have been healthy. That's a long time ago now, like 13, 14 years
Yeah.
ago.
Beautiful.
So it's
Beautiful.
been, yeah. And I know it's because I changed the way that I was thinking and tried to stop living from that ego place that I was, and I've been on that journey. And really, what the biggest message for all of that was I needed to learn how to love myself. And I needed to learn how to do that in a healthy way, in a truly loving way, not the way that kind of I was taught, growing up about how you love yourself. And so all of that changed for me. And then I started to heal in a lot of different ways. And the thing that's always stuck with me kind of is a little bit of fear that I have always had that stops me from moving forward in the direction I know I'm supposed to go. So I found you and I've been listening to your videos. I've been a subscriber on your channel for a while now,
Okay.
over a year for sure.
Uh-huh.
And I just knew that I know that this is part of what I'm supposed to do. And I think that you feel like you're my family or something because I have this trust and belief in you. And I see your YouTube videos and you're just a great person, Case. You really
Thank you.
are.
Thank you.
And I love your message
Thank you.
and I love what you do. So there it is.
Awesome. Well, you're at the right place, and I can't wait to see what happens. Yeah. Have you ever done one of those QHHT sessions?
You know what's a trip is I actually I didn't do it with a person. I wanted to. I just haven't done that. But I did an online session that this one girl I used to follow did QHHT. Her name was her name is um oh my goodness, what is her name again? She was kind
Sure.
of popular
You up in
on you.
Washington?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
Oregon.
Oregon,
You,
yeah, yeah. I don't know her name, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Allison Coe.
Alice and Co. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I used to watch her videos and she did like this online thing where she did a free hypnotist session for everybody.
Hmm.
Basically, you just lay in your room and do it online. So I did that and oh my God, I did not expect it because I went into it thinking, you know what, I'm just going to give this a shot. I'm okay at meditating. I think I'll do it. And like, what? I'm not kidding. Case, this is going to sound crazy. I was in Atlantis
I I believe it. I believe it.
and I was walking the halls in Atlantis and I could see it. I could still see it. It was
Wow.
beautiful. I
Um,
can't even explain it. I was just walking down this hallway as this being, and I don't really even know what it was, except it was very tall. And
Yeah.
all I felt was this love pouring in everywhere.
Yeah,
And I
that's beautiful.
in heaven. It was beautiful. So it was crazy.
Yeah, that's great. I love when people approach things that way. I think that's the optimal state to kind of approach life, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Hard to do though sometimes.
No, it is very challenging. I was just talking to a friend of mine, and I hadn't talked to him in like 40 years since we were in high school together. And he had stumbled
Oh wow.
across one of my videos. Yeah, I guess he's going through his own awakening. And
Oh no.
it was just, it's just so weird. I could just feel like there was this doubt in him. I know it seems like I'm kind of frustrated when I was talking about the conversation I had with my buddy from high school who is going through serious health challenges, depression, thoughts of suicide. Just, he's not doing well. And what is so frustrating to me is when I offered him a session, he said no. I'm like, all he just wants to take his pills and let the pills do their thing. Cool. I mean that's cool, but what's frustrating is to know, to have to know that we each have an energy field. This isn't fake. And when we are stressed out and when we are in fear, unhealthy relationships or unhealthy work environments, dude, that affects your energy field. So it is frustrating to be someone where that's all I do. And people, they don't even believe they have this energy field. It's frustrating. Um, but you know, it is what it is. So, okay, back to the video. So, what
I've been
was the fear about having a session with me?
um it's a fear that I've had with um I'll just say this, I was a religious person
Hmm.
before.
Hmm.
Not so much religious Christian person. My sister who is a great influence over me, was a great influence over me. She's still here, but she doesn't have that power. She was kind of like a mom figure, mother figure for me.
Hmm.
She's Jehovah's Witness. So there was a lot of that. I learned a lot about that religion growing up from my sister,
Hmm.
and I could not follow it the way that she did. It did not speak true to my heart at all.
Yeah.
Although I have this tremendous love for God in my heart, and I even feel like I have a special connection with Jesus. I just, I've always had that there, so it was confusing kind of for me.
Hmm.
But that whole religious training is actually what put the fear in me, because you know how
Yeah.
anything outside of it is like, that's the devil, don't go near it,
Yep.
stay away from it. And anything that's going to enlighten you, they are just so against. So I had to overcome a lot of that, and I have. So it's just been, that kind of a thing for me. And
Yep.
I'm finally standing on my own. Like, even moving away from San Jose is a big thing for me, because
Yep.
all my family's there, and
Hmm.
I'm doing my own thing now. So
Yeah, it's so weird that Christianity, I mean, I'm a big fan of Jesus, and like I know there's amazing things in the Bible, but
yeah,
I was never raised religious, but yet I had this grudge against
uh,
Christianity for no reason. I mean, like they didn't do anything to me, but
right.
for some reason, I always just like it was like a grudge. It was like
Uh-huh.
they did do something, but they didn't. The more I grew up, the more I realized how they're poisoning people with this guilt and this fear. And
Yes.
it's so deep because they do it before you're 7. And so,
Yeah,
anything that happens before you're 7, dude, that is hardwired in there. And
for sure.
it just, the more I educated myself, the less it made sense. And I was like, wow, they really took this beautiful message and twisted it into like this. I don't know. I don't know. So my wife's always telling me that I need to like move past this grudge, and I feel like I do. And then when you tell me stories like this, I'm like, "Ooh, yeah, I don't like
Oh,
this.
I
I
know how you.
don't like this, man. I don't
I know.
Vatican, dude. All you guys can just." But I just have it goes back to
Yeah,
that
I
like
definitely.
reincarnation. I just think that I've had several lives where they've
Oh yeah.
taken my kids.
I was just saying, I get what you're saying. I completely relate to that. I know that I've been on this planet many, many times and been through many, many things. Sometimes I even think that I was there to witness what happened with Jesus,
Yep.
because I remember when I was just a kid, I went to see that. Remember that 6 hour Jesus movie? I don't know if you've ever seen that. I think it's Jesus of Nazareth. And my heart was breaking, and I was bawling my eyeballs out as this little kid in the theater, because I felt it so much. And
Wow.
anyway, I understand what you're saying, but you were saying about your neighbor.
But yeah, my neighbor, one time she was going through this surgery on her throat, and I'd already known him for like a year, probably a year. And I was like, I do this healing work, and I do feel like it will help you recover after the surgery quicker. And I'll do it for free, takes like, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And the first thing she says, she goes, "Oh, well, I'm a Christian and I believe in Jesus." And I was like, I believe in Jesus. Like but it's that it goes back to that. It's ingrained so deep.
I worry about the world because of that. It's like, how are we going to ascend if, how are we going to ascend past this, where we are right now at this time in the world, all this, hatred. And then a lot of it's all hidden behind religion and politics, of course, as well. And I worry about our ability to get past it, because religion is so ingrained in people, and the fear is just there, and
Yep.
they
No.
think I'm supposed to be afraid because I am serving God.
Yeah.
But it's so far from the truth, because
That's
God's in here, you
yeah.
know.
Well, when they Well, first of all, not everybody's going to ascend. Like that's obvious. And then,
Obvious.
when they do transition home, they will see the humor in the last life where they were absolutely brainwashed. I mean, we're all
Yeah,
going to the same place anyway, eventually. So,
it's true. That is a great way to look at it.
and what's really helped me is I just look at it like programming now.
Yeah,
So when people say these crazy things, I just look at it as their programming instead of them, you know,
yeah,
and that really
yeah.
helps me kind of like not judge them, you know,
Sure.
because I want to judge them, but
Oh, yeah, I
but
get it.
judging their program and judging their parents and judging the culture, it's lost its thing. So yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That actually, with my sister, that actually helped me a lot because I used to judge her so much, like, crazy person, why are you living this way? But once I kind of let that go, that's when the fear started to leave me too. It's
yeah,
like when I started to forgive and let go of all of that training that I had, then I started to realize, okay, I started judging less, and it feels good to judge less for
it
sure.
does. It also feels good not to like think things. Like I always took pride in my what I thought I knew. And now it's just totally lost its thing.
Yes.
It's like I just and when you tell people that you don't know anything, like I feel like every time I say I feel like I don't know anything, that I think I lose subscribers. I think people want to be told what to think and what to believe. I really do. I think they don't trust themselves in any way and they want to be told. And the more I go through my process, the more I realize I don't know anything. Now, I do know stuff. But here's what I'm saying. And it reminds me of this Chinese fable I heard from Alan Watts. And it goes like this. I think this is really important. This is what I'm talking about when we don't know. Once upon a time there was a Chinese farmer who during the day his horse had jumped the fence and ran away. And that night all the townspeople came in and they were like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry. That's terrible. You lost your only horse." And the Chinese farmer's like, "Yeah, maybe." The next day, that dude's horse comes back with seven other wild horses. And that night, all the townspeople they came around, they're like, "Dude, that's awesome. That is such great news." And the old farmer's like, "Maybe." The next day, his son is trying to break one of those wild horses. He gets thrown off and breaks his leg. Well, that night, all the townspeople they come by and they're like, "Oh man, that's terrible. I'm so sorry to hear about your son. That is unfortunate." And the old farmer looks at him and says, "Maybe." The next day, the conscription officers come by and they're looking for young men to go fight the war. But they refuse his son because his son has a broken leg and can't go. And that night, all the townspeople, they came by in the evening and they were like, "Man, that is such great news." The old farmer was like, "Maybe." See, we are not smart enough to understand all the ramifications, all the rippling effect when something happens that we think is good or when something happens that we think is bad. We're like in this world where everything is so connected and integrated and complex. And we just can't understand how these events in our life are going to play out. So that's just I just wanted to mention that because I do know stuff. I do know stuff. So don't unsubscribe. People want to be told what to do still. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like even when I talk about this work, like sometimes I think, man, maybe I should just act like I do know what I'm talking about. because I do to here, but when you go up here, you don't. You know what I mean? So,
I get it.
but when you're talking to somebody down here, I don't think they want to hear you don't know what you're talking about. And, but I cannot bring myself to act like I know exactly what I'm talking about because I know I don't at this level. So
Right.
I find it really challenging to act like a know-it-all as far as, this field of consciousness and how we're creating our life and how when we have these beliefs
Yeah.
that are out of alignment with our true God self, that's when we start having cancers. That's when we start having these physical challenges. It's because we've forgotten who we are. I don't
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Well, you're very humble.
I,
You're
I
very humble, and that's a part of it.
I think that's a byproduct of awakening. I really do. And like even Jesus
Yeah.
said, you know, he was like, "You're healing yourself." They're like, "Oh, you healed me." It's like, "No,
Hmm.
you healed yourself with your beliefs." And I don't know.
Yes,
I do think humbleness, humility comes from waking up.
for
Sometimes I wish
sure.
I had a bigger ego though. Sometimes I'm like sometimes I'll see people on this morning I'm watching this video. It was this channeled information on Brian Scott, and then the next video that pops up, it's this one guy, and he was like Neville Goddard's like great grandson or something, and
Oh,
so he just started making videos about Neville Goddard, and it
okay.
was super humble, and that video got traction, and now he's got like 400,000 subscribers being arrogant. And I'm like, God, dude, maybe I should just be more arrogant. Like maybe I should just like be more cocky. But obviously that's never gonna happen because I don't know. But
It's
anyway,
not nature anymore.
yeah, it's yeah, totally, totally.
That's a good thing, though, I think, because I know I'm a lot different than I was before. You
Yeah,
know, I used to, I thought that everything was important what was on the outside. I had no idea, you know, and I feel so, I love that the way that I feel humble about that kind of thing now.
yeah,
And a lot of it was like the stuff that I went through, like the scars and surgery and all this kind of thing. But, it brought me to where I am now, and I am nothing but grateful for it.
yeah, beautiful. So can you feel these frequencies? Have you tried
I
to feel?
can't, yeah, I
Yeah.
big time.
Yeah, nice. Have you ever had like an energy healing session or anything like that?
I've had Reiki before.
Mhm.
I took a Reiki class before, and I have done other types of healings. Like I had this friend, she was actually a nun that worked in the church, and she did energy healings, and she used you know, crystals and that kind of thing. So I've done little things like that.
Like,
Um, and I felt a lot of relief and stuff. I actually dealt with a lot of like trauma stuff that I had dealt
yeah,
with in my, so
yeah,
it
yeah,
it has worked for me. Hmm.
perfect, perfect. I mean, it all works. I mean,
Yeah,
you know, that
and you're open, right? You
you're
have to be
open, yeah,
willing.
open, and not afraid.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. I feel like for a long time, my heart was kind of. I've always been very like try to be very loving and kind.
Hmm.
But I felt like a barrier around my heart in some way. I know it's some kind of a protection mechanism
Of course.
because how we go through life, we get banged around a lot, and so that has been something that I'm trying to overcome as well. That I think is attached to the fear, of course. So
Absolutely. I mean, well, that's, soon as, especially as a child, we start building that wall because we get hurt. And, we're like, that shit's not going to happen anymore. And then we start protecting ourselves. And the next thing you know, we're
yeah,
an adult and we feel completely disconnected from life. You know,
yeah,
we're like, wow, like
Yep.
what happened to me? So
Yeah.
there's a part in the book that talks about these frequencies, and it talks about, the walls people put up around their heart, and how these frequencies have the ability to find the cracks, and they seep in, and they will dissolve that wall. And whether it
Nice.
dissolves the wall in a day or a month or a year or a decade, I don't know. But I do know that the walls come down, eventually,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not ascend like we were talking about unless your heart's open. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You're not going to ascend through this. You're going to ascend through this. And,
Yeah.
um, so I feel I've spoke with enough people where I never really had walls. I mean, I'm sure I did, but like, I guess I just picked the perfect parents to just love me and support me. And I didn't need to put up all these walls. Um,
Nice.
and so, I picked some good parents, man. Like, like that's, it really goes back to that, it's like, dude,
Yeah.
why am I so happy? I think I just picked really good parents that didn't give me any baggage to carry around. Uh,
Yeah. Because you're meant to do this.
Because I guess I was meant to do this. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
It was funny how when this first happened, um, I remember when they came up to me. I was volunteering at one of these seminars because as soon as I felt these frequencies, I jumped in head first, and then I got trained, and then I emailed them. And I go, hey man, I want to be a mentor for you guys. I want to be a part of this program. And they were like, how many reconnections have you done? And I don't know, it was like 3 at the time. And they're like, no, you're not ready to do this. And so then I volunteered in Denver one time in 2012, I think, something. And and as soon as they saw me, they go, we want you to be in the program. And I was so excited. I was like, yes, yes, I'm going to be a part of this. This is awesome. And then I remember I started telling them, and I was like, I had to fly to like Slovenia in like 2 weeks to go be a part of their like international training.
Wow.
And I remember I started telling my friends, I was like, yeah, dude, they asked me to come, and I'm flying to, Europe next week. And all my friends were like, oh yeah, dude, we knew that. I knew that. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they go, dude, when you focus on somebody, you feel it. They go, I was talking to people that knew me for 20 years.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were like, dude, when you're present with someone, you can feel it. And I was like, well, why the fuck didn't you tell me that before? Like, none of my friends said that I had this ability to be present and to radiate something that I didn't know. I didn't know I had this ability, dude. Like shit. My wife's never going to tell me, that's for sure. So, uh, well, you got any questions about this stuff?
Um, well, I did kind of have a question.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't know if it's one that should be answered. Because I was gonna say, ask what can I expect, or should I just not expect anything? Because you said that just a little bit ago. Just kind of
Yeah,
go in open and just let it happen.
just lay down and close your eyes and we'll see what happens.
Okay.
So that was your only question?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you read the book?
I have not, and I'm gonna do that next.
Okay. I'll tell you what I think is happening. What I think is happening is a couple 100,000 years ago, I think our DNA was edited,
Yeah,
and then we completely forgot who we were. We lost that knowing
that we are these spiritual beings. I believe that we allowed that to happen for the experience of separation, for the illusion that we're not connected.
Yeah.
And now we've reached the time where it's that cycle's over. And I think these frequencies are absolutely awakening our dormant DNA. And I
Hmm.
think that all these lives we've ever lived, I think that we're reconnecting with these other lives. And so we're starting to access a new wisdom that is ours. I think it's waking up to our full multidimensional self. Our instinct gets stronger. We trust ourselves more. We have
Yeah.
this wisdom that we just know what's right for us and what's not right for us. And we are just waking up to our true multidimensional selves. Um,
Yeah, I agree with that completely. Because I can, the having that fear before was related to me relying on outside information. Now I'm relying on the inside information. And once I know, like something really, I can feel it in my heart. I know it's right for me or it's not. And if I listen to that, I don't go wrong,
yep,
you know?
exactly. We spend the beginning of our life knowing, but then we question it and we don't do it. And then we question it. Yeah, I shouldn't go out with her, man. Something doesn't feel right. And then 2 years later, you're like, oh my God, this is the worst relationship I've ever been in my entire life. What is going? It's like, dude, you knew that it wasn't good. You just you didn't
Yeah.
trust that. And so,
Oh, have I been there?
yeah, yeah,
I have.
yeah.
And now I have the most wonderful husband. And
Beautiful. Nice.
it's just, yeah, but it took me to find my way back to me and love me first before I could really be with somebody who knows how to love, you
Totally.
know? So,
To-
yeah, so it's been a very, very, I don't even know how to put it into words. It's been an experience, this life,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
And if you don't love yourself and you're single and you're desperately trying to get in a relationship, dude, you're not ready for a relationship because you're
Yeah,
only going to attract an unhealthy relationship, man. Like
totally.
you're
Yes,
just gonna do it again and again. You have to love yourself.
absolutely.
What made you love yourself?
Yeah, honestly, it was forgiving myself for all the mistakes that I made. That was the biggest thing. It's like learning how to I forgave everybody else for everything that they ever did, right? It was easy for me to do that, but boy was I hard on myself. And I honestly didn't even realize how hard on myself I was. And then I started, you know, practicing like just really being kind to myself because
No,
I thought it was selfish. I thought that was selfishness. But once I learned how to do that and forgive myself for the mistakes I made when I was not conscious of what I was really
you were just playing up
probably
programming. Yeah.
exactly. And once I realized that, and like you said, you take that step back with the whole judgment thing and you start to realize, okay, wait a minute. This is all a big, big theater. And I am this person living out this experience. And I just need to take a step back and I need to start appreciating that that's what I'm doing right now. And I'm not doing this for just me, I'm doing it for everybody I love. And I'm doing it because I love humanity
Yep.
too.
Yep.
And I keep trying to, and that itself just made me love myself. So I was
Yep.
like, that's pretty cool. You are actually that being. You're that loving being that came here because you love everybody and
Yep.
everything,
Because we're all
and
one. Like
exactly,
we're
yes.
like yeah, I mean, it's so blatantly obvious to me, like everything you're saying. And it's like I don't understand why people don't get it. Like
I know.
it's like because once you go through those processes, you're like, oh my God, you understand every little piece of wisdom that you've heard because you're like, oh, yeah, we're all one. I get it. Like it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
It
cool.
so nice. It's a long road to get there, though, where you actually understand. It sounds so simple, right? But
Uh,
it takes a while to get there.
it doesn't take as long now. Like I think in 1 year you can do what used to take 70 years.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. If
Yeah.
I told you what just happened to me in this last year and
Mhm.
then the last actually 17 years before that, you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I completely changed my life. It happened quickly.
Yep.
And it happened when I really got into that center place in myself where I forgave myself and learned how to love and even love. I was in a long, hard relationship for a very long time, 17 years.
Gotta make it work. You know,
Yeah.
got gotta
Oh,
make it work, man. It's like, no, no, you
oh
don't.
yeah.
Yeah. I love that no pain,
Yeah.
no gain. I'm like, yeah, dude, if you want to build muscles,
Oh,
cool. But if you're talking about relationship, no. But
yeah.
as a Christian who was raised to be a Christian, you got to make it work, right? Isn't
Yes.
that part of
Oh,
that? In that part? And whenever I would speak to someone who was, especially a female that was a Christian, my stepmom literally went to a church where the women were not allowed to speak. It was only
whoa.
the men. And I'm like, dude, are you shitting me? Like,
Yeah.
how can you not know that that's ridiculous? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you got to grind it out. You got to make it
I
work.
know. Oh, goodness. But once I started to feel the shift or, something happened within me, my life, I was doing like visualization, meditation. I did all that for the longest time. And then all of a sudden, I don't, it's like you're saying, my DNA has clicked on or something because I was like, okay,
Done.
done with this. I'm
Done.
out of here. Whatever it takes, I'm going to make it happen. And then I did. I met my husband, who I've known actually since I was 5 years old, because he was my
Wow,
brother's
that's
best
amazing.
friend.
That,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. He was my brother's best friend. I had a wild crush on him when I was a kid. And
Oh
then,
God, what a
he's fi-
beautiful story. Oh my God,
yeah.
so beautiful.
And get this case, we also like so he's 5 years older than me.
Mhm.
So when I was 11, I actually told my parents, I'm going to marry him.
Oh,
And my
wow.
mom and dad, yeah, and my
They
mom
probably
and dad,
freaked.
yeah,
Yeah, they
my dad,
probably,
you're not marrying anyone. But
yeah.
so
Oh,
then,
that's
of
beautiful.
course, he didn't know I was alive because he was 16 years old and this gorgeous teenage guy running around.
Yeah.
And then when I was 16, he's like, whoa, wait a minute. He's looking.
He's like, wait a second, you really like grew up. Like, yeah, that's awesome.
But then I had met my ex-husband, my daughter's father. And
Hmm.
then that started me down a completely different road. And this whole time, all these years, we always liked each other, always thought about each other. And
Hmm.
at this time in my life, we got back together and we just knew immediately, like
Yeah.
we know that we're just our souls are together. So we eloped
Well,
and
awesome. Awesome.
it's been great. But anyway,
Yeah.
I'm telling you my whole life story. I'm
No, that's
sorry
cool.
about
That's
that.
cool. You wouldn't have appreciated him unless you had that 17-year grind with somebody else.
Yes, yes, for sure. I grew in leaps and bounds from that relationship, and that was the whole cancer time too.
Yep.
So it was a crash course.
Wow. So that was, do you see that cancer and the timing
Yes,
of that? Like, it didn't it all make perfect sense?
complete sense.
Your higher self was like, Cynthia, you're in an unhealthy relationship. You're like, and and it's like, dude, you're not getting it. Okay, well, I'll get you to get it. How about breast
Yes,
cancer? And you're like, oh shit,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yep.
It's awesome. You're just going to lay down, relax, place your awareness on your body, and I'll go for 30 minutes, and we will see what happens.
All right.
Okay, I hope you have a great session.
Whoa. My hands are on fire.
Are they? Yeah.
Oh, I felt like I was being stretched. Does that make any sense at all?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
know.
know what.
People feel that sometimes. Yeah, you look like you were being stretched. Yeah.
Yeah, then I felt like especially my back, right, probably in the back where my heart is. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like a push and a pull at the same time.
Hmm.
And then and then I'd feel it, and then I'd feel the stretch. And then I'd do it again, and then I'd feel stretch. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, no, I quit trying to make sense of what happens to people.
That was pretty great. I could still feel it. I could still feel stuff coursing through me right now.
We just ended this right now and you laid back down, it would continue. That's those are the kind of things that just lets me know how big this is. Like you were
Yeah.
supposed to have a session. I don't know, but you laid down for a couple minutes before I started. Did you feel anything when you lay down or?
I tried to like breathe myself into getting relaxed because I was kind of excited to see what would happen. So I was trying to calm myself down a little bit so that I could just relax into it. So that's kind of where I was.
Perfect.
And then it happened very quickly though.
Yeah. Right when I came
Yeah.
back.
I can feel, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I right now I feel like heat pouring down my back, ripping me out.
I wouldn't be surprised if you start to feel these frequencies much stronger, like all the time. Um, yeah, it's pretty
Okay.
amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you. My goodness.
You're
I,
so welcome.
I'm so happy that I finally did this.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you for everything you do on YouTube
Oh, you're
too.
welcome. You're welcome. I enjoy it. Okay. See ya.
Excellent. See ya.
My name's Case. I have a website called everydaymasters.life. Give me a call. We'll set up an appointment and we'll get you reset.
Surfing on a wave of good feelings. Well, it's just another Friday in paradise. So bring your A game, cause you know this party won't stop. We could never run out of time, sipping strawberry lime. You know I wanna share it with you.